Well, next tonight, to the story of a proud Liverpudlian who became a sporting legend in Manchester. Peter Craven was a Speedway racer. He competed for the Belle Aces for more than a decade and was crowned world champion twice. He died in 1963 after a crash in a race. He was just 29. This weekend, the National Speedway Stadium in Manchester hosts the annual Peter Craven Memorial in his honour. Claire Hannah looks back at his life.
But Peter Craven's superb riding gave him 13 points out of a possible 50.
Say the name Peter Craven to any Speedway fan, and even 58 years after his death, they'll still say he's one of the greatest riders Speedway ever had. He had his first go on a Speedway bike when he was just 16. 6 years later, he was a regular for Belle Aces in Manchester, and he'd won his first world title.
A triumph indeed for Peter, who's only 5 feet tall. The Tom Thumb of the Speedway.
Followed by a second world title in 1962. He also inspired another PC, the legendary Peter Collins.
My dad and the lads that worked on the farm, we had motorbikes and things, and some of the parents of one of the lads took me to Bellevue when I was 8, and he was just blew me away totally because he was just so exciting to watch. You know, you couldn't believe what you were seeing when you saw him out on the track because, I mean, they called him the Wizard of Balance because, I mean, he used to go around there like totally balancing on the bike without putting his foot down and all that business. It sparked something in me that at 8 years old to decide you wanted to be world champion just like Peter.
Along with being a hero for many, Peter Craven was a family man. When he died at the age of 29, 2 days after a crash during a race, he left behind his wife Brenda, their 6-year-old son Robert and 2-year-old daughter Julie. Now 87, Brenda has opened a suitcase of photos and shared some of her memories with us.
He always insisted on staying there until he'd signed every autograph and spoken to whoever wanted to speak to him.
And he also used to get medical treatments from a football manager some of you may just have heard of.
Well, Peter was a very, very staunch Liverpool supporter. And he used to go to Liverpool. He trained with them a bit, you know. And he had cartilage trouble. And he used to go to Liverpool for treatment. Wow. And Bill Shankly used to, you know, actually give him the treatment.
How do you feel when you look at the pictures?
Nostalgic, really, yes. Got some very good memories.
Peter Craven was born and raised in Liverpool. Surprisingly, the only recognition for him in his hometown is his grave in West Derby Cemetery. And there is a lot to remember him for. Along with being a double world champion, he was also a husband, a dad, and a very proud Scouser. Claire Hannah, ITV News, Liverpool.